Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 225 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. Well, that's quite a title, huh? Why am I not happy? That's the $1,000,000 question. So how many of you listening have ever reached an accomplishment in life, okay, that you worked for, you yearned for, and you thought, man, if I do that, I'll be happy. I'll be complete. Only to get there and think, okay, is this all there is? And then you find, well, now you want something more. Maybe you reached your goal weight, but now you notice there's other things you want to change. Or maybe you found your life partner, but you still long for fulfillment in a way. It leads you to that question, why am I not happy? Why can't I just be happy where I am? We aren't alone, and you are not abnormal. That's called being human. By design, we're made to create and also want more. We're made to continue growing. For me, once I realized I was good at interior design and I'd been working for a while, I found a certain level of success. I realized that I wanted more. So I did a few home shows and I thought, oh, if I could only win best interior design, I'll be happy. I'll feel accomplished. Well, I did win, and that feeling lasted for a minute, but then I realized I had a desire for more. So now I'm like, oh, if I could only be published in a magazine, that'll do it. That'll be ultimate success. That'll be the culmination. So I did. I was published in a few magazines on the cover of one. And that feeling of accomplishment, it only lasted a few weeks. So then, of course, now I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I need a degree in design to really have credibility and really reach that ultimate success goal. So I go and I get a 4-year degree at the age of about 36. And I'm really glad I did it. And it's been super valuable. And I'm proud that I stuck with it. I'm proud of myself for that. But again, after walking across the stage to get my diploma, within a few months, I was back wanting more and trying to figure out what was next. I realized that no matter how many achievements I accomplished, I would still desire more. Was I never going to be just happy? But I thought, wait a minute, what if I'm looking at it wrong? I started thinking about the journey to winning my first home show and how my friend and I literally dug furniture out of attics and out of our own houses and off the clearance rack to make this design show house look a certain way. And we were up against big budgets, and our budget was almost zero. And we ran into problems, and there were things we didn't think were perfect, but we got really creative and we had so much fun and we worked so hard, and boy, was it fulfilling. And then we won. And yes, we were happy. We were super excited and we got our trophy. But after a few weeks, I was left with that feeling of what's next. And then I thought about the years I spent in college as an adult and how that in itself was a little challenging, but how creative we had to be for all of our projects and how hard it was, how much I had to stretch myself to get that design degree. Now, I got my degree from the University of Memphis Architecture Department, where design students actually work alongside the architect students for the first 2 years or so. Now, I had to build those little balsa wood models. I mean, those are really difficult. They're tedious. And we had to learn to write a certain way and learn new, really technical design software. It was new and hard, and boy, was it fulfilling. And then I got my degree, and yeah, it was great, but it wasn't anything compared to the journey leading up to it. That was way more fulfilling. My mom used to tell me I never let the grass grow under my feet. At the time, she did not necessarily mean that in a good way. I just always liked to be doing something. She was right. And that hasn't changed, and I'm glad. If a dream calls me, I answer it. I'm not sure I know another way. But I realized that the accomplishment of that goal and then the realization that I was always going to have a new goal in mind didn't mean I wasn't happy. It just meant that there was a completion and a new beginning all at the same time. So often we think that this new goal is the end all to be all. I'll be satisfied when I complete it. And you will be, but for a brief moment. And then that new desire will set in and you're off the races again. So when you're driven in life like we are, and I feel like we're the same because you're listening to the Wildly Successful Lifestyle podcast, okay? So you're driven. When you're driven, though, understand that the completion of each accomplishment, that's a natural end of one part of your life and the beginning of the next. And because you had that goal in mind and you went for it, if you really look back and think about it, you had this awesome, wild journey that was fun and exciting and scary and dreadful all at the same time. And every time you answer that call to that new desire or goal, there's going to be that struggle and striving. But there's also going to be that invigoration of nerves and excitement because you're doing something new. And that all combined together, that's what's created the you that is today. There are moments of joy and moments of struggle down every path. So where are you in your journey right now? Have you accomplished something that you thought would be everything and now you're left wanting more? Or maybe you're not where you thought you'd be. I can say this, if you're listening to this podcast, you're headed in the right direction because you're opening your mind up to the possibility that there's something more. And I promise you there is. And if you answer that calling, it'll be fun and hard and scary and exciting. And you just have to be willing to go. Now, if you have a calling and you don't answer it, it'll haunt you. It can be the cause for resentment and pain because we're meant to follow our dreams. And if we do that, that journey will take us exactly where we're supposed to be. I've talked about this before where a friend of mine said, Heidi, you shouldn't tell someone they can have whatever they want if they set their mind to it. And I said, if someone wants to be a star football player, for example, but they just aren't big enough, but they still go after that dream anyway, they're going to end up finding their very, very own version of that dream. It doesn't look the same for everyone. Maybe they end up as the coach. Maybe they end up owning the team. Maybe they end up as a sportscaster. And maybe the journey is super fulfilling because they gave it their all. You know that saying, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. I think that goes for everything. And I love that saying. So maybe it's not that you're not happy. Nobody's always happy. Maybe you're happy and then you want more, which causes you to struggle, which causes you to grow, which makes you happy. And then you'll want more again. You see the pattern? This is the natural progression of a driven life. And answering that calling, though, is just one piece of the puzzle. Being driven to succeed and then succeeding is not what ultimately makes you happy. Some of the most successful people we know are not happy. And some of the people that have the least are the happiest. It's about finding the joy in the process. It's celebrating your wins and getting back up after your losses. It's the fulfillment in life, and that fulfillment is going to look different for each one of us. Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. He's been teaching this for years. He says there's this science of achievement, which is being able to have a vision and reach it. You can do that in your life, your career, your body. And he says success without fulfillment, though, that's the ultimate failure. Fulfillment's an art because it's different for everybody. So don't base your happiness on achievement. Base it on fulfillment. And every time you accomplish something, remember, yes, it's a completion and celebrate that. But also a new beginning because you're never going to be finished. And that's a beautiful part of life. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.